Good morning, Mike Lenk with Rock-Tread. We're here in beautiful central Indiana today to put down a garage floor. Residential garage floors have grown in a market share for Rock-Tread and other manufacturers as people are turning what was typically storage space into usable space. Today we're going to be installing a single broadcast chip system, but before we talk about the products, we're going to talk about some of the challenges that you have when you do a residential garage floor. A lot of our contractors, today our contractor will be JB Enterprises, a preferred Rock-Tread contractor out of Westfield, Indiana. They've been doing garage floors and industrial floors for about 20 years. One of the challenges, or a couple of the challenges that you face when deciding to do a garage floor is a couple things. One, most garage floors don't have a vapor barrier underneath them, meaning that there is an opportunity for moisture vapor transmission to come out through your concrete and blister your coating. What we did prior to this application is we did our moisture calcium chloride test with a vapor gauge. After getting the results of 72 hours, the moisture vapor transmission rates were well within industry norms. Secondly, you have to understand your slab temperature and your air temperature. Today we're at about 58 to 60 degrees here in central Indiana. The slab temperature is at 63 degrees. So typically anything above 50 degrees is going to be a green light to move forward with your coating. Another challenge you have is as homes are being built today on a fast track mode, the concrete contractors are using a lot of curing compound. What curing compound does is back in the old days, concrete used to be moisture cured with a burlap blanket and actually water applied to keep the concrete from hydrating too fast. Over about the last 15 years, concrete contractors are using a curing compound that they apply to the top of the concrete surface. That curing compound has to be removed. And that's one of the, downsides of doing it yourself or buying product from the big hardware stores. They talk about acid washing your floor or power washing your floor to get a good profile. And that's just not acceptable. What we're going to be using today is a shot blast machine. It's about a $30,000 to $40,000 piece of equipment. It shoots steel BBs at the floor and gives a nice anchor profile. Does a couple things. One, it removes the curing compound. Two, it removes any kind of excess paint or drywall mud that may be on the floor. And it gives us a really nice profile. Talking about a profile, it would be like a 36 grit piece of sandpaper. So you've got peaks and valleys for your industrial coating or your Rock-Tread product to bond to. And that's really going to give you the long-term success. Today the systems that we're going to be using is the Chemrock LV. We're going to be using our patented RTE bag packs. So we're going to pigment the product in tan. We're going to be broadcasting 16th inch microchips into the wet epoxy after the prep. We'll come back tomorrow, sweep off any of the microchips that did not adhere to the wet epoxy, and then we'll come back and apply a coat of Chemrock's Ultra UV, which is the best UV protectant epoxy on the market today. One of the other questions that a homeowner has to answer is whether they want their floor to be completely seamless or they want to keep the joints open. In this particular project, the residence is less than 5 years old. So these expansion joints are engineered to be here for a reason. As concrete expands and contracts, it has to have a point where it can control its cracking so that we don't have cracking over the entire surface. With our typical rule of thumb is if a home has not gone through 5 thermal cycles, and a thermal cycle is from summer to winter and winter back to summer, the concrete is probably not done moving. This house being less than 5 years old, we're going to leave the joints open. We're going to go ahead and let the professionals from JB Enterprises get busy with the surface prep. Again, they're going to be using the shot blast for the main floor. They're going to diamond grind the edges. I'll see you when we start to apply the coatings. professionals from JB Enterprises have just finished the surface prep on this garage floor. And what we have here is a nice, even profile. The International Concrete Repair Institute, or ICRI, has recently released a consistent pattern of profile that the industry is starting to go with, from a CSP, or a concrete standard profile, of a 1 to 11. Typically, when you're doing a garage floor, you're going to want a CSP of about 4 to 5, which is what we have here. The floors have been shot blasted, the edges have been diamond ground. The profile here, if you were to feel this, is about the same as 36 grit sandpaper. About 75% of all coatings projects in the United States fail as a result of insufficient surface profile. Because of the curing compounds that we mentioned earlier, it's difficult to go in with a power washer or a sander and sand that off. Our advice is hire a professional contractor. Now that the surface prep's done, we're going to start talking about the coatings that we're going to install on this garage floor. Today we're going to be using Chemrock's low viscosity formulation. It comes in a 3-gallon bag pack. Inside the 5-gallon pail, you have your 2 gallons of resin, 1 gallon of your hardener, and on this particular project, because we want to use a tinted base coat, we're going to use our RTE color pack. The contractor, quite simply, is going to open up the resin, dump that into the bucket, add the pigment, disperse the pigment by drilling it up for a minute to a minute and a half, and then add in the hardener. Again, drilling on a low RPM, 450 RPMs, for about a minute to a minute and a half. Once the product is mixed, it'll be spread on the garage floor, and the aggregate will be broadcast to what we call rejection. What that means is the contractor is going to continue to throw the aggregate until there are no more wet spots on the floor. So we'll go ahead and let the professionals of JB Enterprise take it from here. Talk to you soon when we talk about the top coat. Hi, we're back. Another beautiful day in central Indiana. First day went flawlessly. The Chemrock low viscosity pigmented product went down with the microchips, almost 100% saturation. Now we're to the second stage, the final stage, which is the top coat. Two things that you have to consider when selecting a top coat. One is chemical resistance, and typically in a garage floor you have to have a product that is chemically resistant to all automotive fluids: windshield washer fluid, antifreeze, brake fluid, gasoline, motor oil. But more importantly, in about the last 10 or 15 years, there's been a huge change in how tires are manufactured. Back in the old days, we had radials or bias ply. Now we have low profile tires or run flats. Those tires actually have less rubber in the tire themselves. They add plasticizers, which contain solvents. So on a hot or a warm day, when you take your car out on the road, that solvent, due to centrifugal force, works its way to the outside of the tire. As you pull your car into your garage floor, those 4 pieces of hot solvent reactivate some coatings, and when you back out, you'll either leave a tire print, which is called Paul printing, or hot tire track. You'll actually pull the coating off. With Chemrock's Ultra UV product, it's been chemically tested against all those fluids. The second challenge that you have is ultraviolet exposure. Some garages, they may want to keep the doors down and have no side windows. So basically any top coat would work. In this particular garage, we have a large 2-car garage door and a 1-car garage door open that's going to be open quite often as the homeowner has small children. It's going to be imperative for your long-term success that you use a epoxy clear coat that is UV tolerant. Rocktread's Ultra UV has been tested, and to our test results, is the most UV tolerant UV top coat on the market today. The application method is going to be very similar to what was done yesterday. The product is going to be mixed up. It's going to be squeegee applied and back rolled at about 160 square feet a gallon. Sometimes if you pull your top coat nice and tight, the texture of the chips will give you a satisfactory non-skid pattern. In this particular instant, again, because the homeowner has small children, the contractor is going to use aluminum oxide into the back roll it into the top coat for more non-skid aggregate. If you have any questions on Rock Tread's products, feel free to contact us at 1-888-ROCK-TREAD or visit our website, www.rocktread.com, or visit us on Facebook. If you're in the Indiana area and you'd like to contact JB Enterprises, their phone number, area code 317-695-3232. For Rock Tread, I'm Mike Lang.